first up, Headliner. If you haven't heard by now, Chosen is back, but now it's called Headliners. There's quite a bit different here, but the first thing you'll notice is that there are Headliners in your shop, and you can see here Caitlyn. They come at 2-star, and before you ask, yes, we tested it at 1-star. It does very bad things to the game. Didn't work out. So 2-star Caitlyn, there she is. One of her traits will be glowing. So if you take this, rapid fire gets +1, and then she'll be 2-star. And then the other thing is you can mouse over them and you can see their ability. Headliner effect plus 10% AD, and her ult hits 1 additional shot. So instead of 4, I believe it's 5. And you can see that for every champion. Every champion has a unique headliner effect. You're going to want a headliner on your board. Yeah. So headliner's back. There are some other details. I don't remember if I put a slide in. Hang on. Let me... Oh, Kent. All right. Kent was in my deck. Thanks, Kent. Kent's clearly excited. Lilia with a custom skin. See, you give Kent a little power. This is what he does. All right, back on track. Headliners have a unique effect, as I mentioned, and everyone is custom tailored this time, which is nice because as we're trying to balance the game, if something's off, we can very clearly adjust it, right? If hypothetically, let's say Cassante is just the best tank in the game, there's a clear lever here, in addition to their spell, their headliner effect. So this is really nice. And as you can see, a lot of them are pretty basic. So like Corky's AD, Tom Kench's health, Cassante has health. Others can be more interesting, right? Like Jinx, for example, minigun grants an extra 1% attack speed, rocket launcher attacks deal an extra 10% damage. Cool. Yasuo gains Omnivamp. Bard, at combat start, for every 8 times Bard has cast, play a Doot. Pretty interesting. So yeah, you can look through all these. I'll keep the slide up here for just a second. But like I said, some are unique, some are basic. But again, having a nice lever for every headliner. So good. So good. 3 and 4 costs, same thing. You can see they start to scale a little bit, but nothing too crazy. You know, even in this world, what are we seeing? And 4 costs actually go down in power a little bit because 4 costs themselves are already very strong. You can see, for example, Vex is 25% bonus ability power, while Ahri is 15% bonus ability power. And again, that's intentional, right? This is very clear balance levers to try to make certain strategies more or less dominant. We can have good control over this. So for those of you that are very worried about the balance, even if we don't nail it perfectly, there are plenty of ways to get things in the right spot here. So I'm feeling very confident about our ability to adjust. Some fun ones here. Blitzcrank, passive zaps also deal additional max health magic damage. Amumu, I think, is one of the crazier ones. Remember how I mentioned Amumu gains armor when he's hit? Headliner Amumu also gains MR, so tanky on both axes, can end up being really good. Mordekaiser's another one. 200 health, 5% of bonus ability power. When he solo kills, gain 2% permanent ability power. So you can actually make a carry Mordekaiser if you get the headliner Mordekaiser pretty early. So pretty fun. Yeah. And then we have our 5 costs. Obviously with the 5 costs, we had to do something a little more unique sometimes. For example, Sona, every attack increases her attack speed by 2%. She attacks a lot. She's actually a really good Ginsu's user, so this is pretty good for her. Kiana, when Kiana copies an item, grant her 5% bonus attack damage. Yorick summoned 2 extra zombies. The big zombie is bigger. That's pretty fun. So, yeah. There you go. There's your headliner effects. One last thing about headliners before we move on, since I guess I didn't have a slide in there, is that the way headliners work is if you do not have a headliner, every single shop will have a headliner. The right side, it'll always be that slot, which means you have a 100% drop rate. If you do have a headliner, what'll happen is in 1 out of every 4 shops, it will be there. Now, what that does mean is you are going to be slightly nerfed. You're only going to see 19 units instead of 20, because you can't, like, let's say you're playing KDA and you have a Nico headliner you're very happy with. Cool. And then you see an Ahri headliner in your shop, but you just want the basic Ahri unit. Sorry, you can't. That's just not how it works. The other thing to note is if you see a headliner you like and you try to buy it, what'll happen is the game will say, nope, you got to sell your old one first. So no mistakes, things like that. Again, very confident in the system though. There will be some slight feels bads, but overall it is a massive improvement to headliners and allows you a lot of flexibility. So